millions. And I cannot lie, it's gotta be more than just dollars, right? In our daily lives, till I'm spending mine to make bitches hunt me down like a wanted sign. I mean, does that make me similar to the next one? You know, sinners are the same as the blessed ones. Bad guys always slip away, and dome shots for pedestrians.
What we have here is a very simple beat. What's included is a sample, loop, 808, kick, snare, and some cymbals. So the first step before mixing down this track or this beat is gain staging. So what is gain staging? Well, similar to how it sounds. We're going to adjust the volume or the gain to where it doesn't clip in the output. So basically, I'm just going to give it a quick volume mix or gain mix. So let's get started now. So the sample's playing here. I'm going to skip forward, the drums kick in. See how it clips? Now, I'm going to make the cymbals and the stereo tracks here. Still clipping. Give myself more room. It's that 808 here.
No nigga, so I fear no nigga. Now 1 ounce sad dog. Them closed doors can't hide who you stand by, cause you belong to the world when you outside.
So what I'm gonna do is, I just know from experience that most vocals lie around this range here between the 1K and 2K mark. So I'm just gonna do like a slim cut here. Just to leave room. Obviously, you could still hear the sample just fine, but just that nice little cut right there will just help the vocals sit in the mix a little bit better. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a fast delay on the left and the fast delay on the right. Off balance it a little bit, so let's go about 90 and 100, and then let's listen to the sample. Just to go over what I did is I applied bus 1 here, and I set the send volume here to be sent to this auxiliary track here, and just do fast delay. And then I implemented this stereo delay plugin here, and I offset the delay by a bit. 90 milliseconds on the left, 100 on the right. Now listening, you'll hear that it sounds like it's kind of falling back behind. Gives it more of like a dreamy tone. Obviously, I don't want it that loud. I'm going to adjust it. But I like that dreamy like tone it gives it. If I wanted to put it a little to the left here with the pan, a little bit to the right here, maybe turn the volume up a bit. Now moving on to the 808. So when working with low end frequencies, it's very important that you capture a broad range, because what happens sometimes, like listening to this 808, it's a very low tone. So when playing with certain headphones, it will, or certain speakers, that low frequency won't pick up. And that's just because the speakers weren't designed to capture low frequencies like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a higher tone to this 808 so it's captured on more speakers, like on less expensive speakers, like your laptop speakers or something of that sort. So like what I did with the fast delay, I set a send to auxiliary 2, which in Logic it creates a new auxiliary track. I'm going to call this 808 distortion. And then I'm going to use the Logic distortion plugin here. And then I'm going to set the tone to about 140 hertz. And you'll hear what that will do. It's going to give it more of like a fuzz sound. I'm not going to set the drive too high because I don't want it to sound like a guitar. I just want it to kind of get a little fuzz and kind of pick up in a higher range. So let's hear what that did. See how it has like that longer, fuzzier tone. And we're clipping because we're sending a large signal, so I'm going to cut that down here. But it gives it that nice, like, warm tone to it. So when I EQ the 808 now, I'm basically going to add a little bit more rumble. Basically just because I like really low toned 808s. It's just personal preference. So I hit the analyzer button here so I could see where the 808 lives within the mix. So this is the pocket that the 808 lives in, around the 50 hertz range. See how it's going up right here? So I'm gonna do a little boost here. Just give it a, not too much, but just enough to where it hits pretty hard. And look, I'm clipping, so just turn it down a bit to where I'm not clipping too much. There we go. That's a nice tone. So now, moving on to the kick. We got to be careful when EQing the kick. Simply because the kick and the 808 usually live within the same range of the song. And I'll show you what I mean. So here's the EQ with the analyzer on for the 808. And then I'm going to put on an EQ for, I'm going to put an EQ on for the kick. Here's the kick EQ on the right. Here's the 808 on the left that we already adjusted. So watch when I press play, and you can see where each lives within the mix. See how it's up there? See how they hit around the same area? So, in order for the kick to come through clearly, I'm going to find a sweet spot in more of a higher tone. Which, let me go into a better area of the song. Here. Or set a loop here. Sorry, guys. Actually, we'll just wait for it. So I'm going to find a sweet spot that's at a little bit of higher tone that still cuts through the mix nicely. There we go. See how it cuts through right there? You still hear it. Yeah, we're clipping, but we're just finding a sweet spot. Now I'm going to turn that down a bit. Okay. And now with the 808, I'm actually going to look where I boosted the kick, which was around 79 frequencies here, and then I'm gonna cut 79 around here just a little bit so I could put some room for the kick in the mix. So like lift it up, then I'm gonna cut it down a bit. There we go. Let me set a loop so it's a little bit more easy to understand. Sorry about that. I'm just setting a loop. Okay. I don't want to cut too much because I still want the 808 to have that. I still want the 808 to have that low rumble. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to push the kick forward a little bit more. Not too much, just a little bit. And I'm going to do that by applying a compressor. So what a compressor does is it pushes a sound forward within a mix. I'm going to apply like a 3-to-1 ratio. And we're clipping here. Let me turn the overall mix down just a bit. Sorry guys. That's better volume. Okay, cool. I'm going to apply like a 3-to-1 ratio here. Then I'm going to adjust the compression threshold. what that's gonna do, that's gonna affect the gain reduction. So I'm gonna go about 4 to 5 dB in gain reduction. Then I'm actually gonna make the attack faster. Anytime working with drums, you want a fast attack. For the release, I'm gonna try to time it to, there we go. See how it kind of closes off before the other kick hits in? So that's a good release right there. Now, what I cut with the gain reduction, I have to make up. So we're cutting about 5. I'm gonna make up about 5 right there. Okay. See how that moves the kick forward a bit? Oops. Let me go here. And the 808 still cuts through. So we're good there. Not too much more we're gonna do to the kick. Now moving on to the snare. The snare lives in a different area of the mix than the low end instruments like 808 and kick. Well, low end drums, I guess you could say. So the snare, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna boost around the 200 hertz range. Try to find a sweet spot. I like kind of like a low, solid body sounding snare. So you're gonna find that around here in the 240-ish range, but this one has more life to it in 200 range, so I'm gonna boost it around here. I don't really need any low end frequencies within the snare, so I'm just gonna cut that out right here. But I want to actually add some high end. Actually, when I add some high end to the snare, so I'm gonna boost around here until I find a frequency I like. Okay. Don't really like that, but let's see. Kind of hear the stick hit a little bit. No. I think around there. I like that range. Not gonna boost too much. Then I'm actually gonna boost around 10K. Let's see. I need another. Where do we go? Okay, we got one here. Give it more of like a high tone to it at the end. Okay. There we go. I'm gonna add a little bit more low in here. For the snare, I'm actually going to add a compressor to this as well, just to make it sound a little bit more beefy. I'm going to go like a 4-to-1 ratio though. I'm going to cut about like almost 8. I'm going to go with a faster attack. Actually, just to where it sounds good. I like to hear like the stick hit, so there we go. Auto will be fine, and we're cutting about almost 8, so we're gonna bring up about 7.5. Now the snare sounds a little bit louder. I'm gonna turn it down a bit, but I also want to add some reverb to the snare so it sounds like in a room. It has more of like a ambient sound to it, so I'm gonna try this reverb. I don't usually use the Logic plugins, so I'm kind of playing around with them. I normally use the waves, but for tutorial's sake, I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna turn the room, make it smaller. I don't really like how this reverb has like a high pitch to it, so let's try to turn the low frequency up. Cut the high down a little bit. That's a little better. And then spread. Kind of playing around with this reverb. Okay. I don't like the delay, so I'm going to take off the pre-delay. I'm gonna EQ the reverb just because I don't like the high sound it's bringing. So I'm gonna cut some of the high frequencies down, and then I'm gonna add some like give it like a darker sound to the snare. Okay, I like that much better. Snare, verb. And now going on to the cymbal. Let's see. It's weird sounding. We're gonna want to pan this to a good spot in the mix. So I don't know if I like it to the left, to the right. I think I like it to the left, around here. And then I'm actually going to bring out some highs to the cymbal with the EQ. Try to, right there. 5K sounds good. And then I'm going to sweep around. I kind of like the 5K around there, but a little bit wider. Don't really need this. And then now moving on to the next one. So the cymbal's pretty quiet. I don't normally do this, but in order to increase the gain of this cymbal without having to add a bunch of plugins to it, like compressing and stuff, I'm actually going to normalize it, and you'll see what that does. So here's the audio track now after normalize. When it's done processing, you'll notice that the waves will be much larger. See? Now it's going to be loud. Super loud. I'm going to turn it down though. I don't normally do this, but certain situations I will. So I'm going to turn it down, and then see how it's making it clip a little bit. Let me go back to my mixer here. Here we go. I'm still not really hearing the cymbal cut through. That's because where it's lying in the mix, it's getting drowned out. So I need to find the frequency within this cymbal that's going to bring it out. I'm guessing around here. So I'm going to go around here. The 2. I'm also going to boost around here. Give it more of like a higher tone. Still, I hear it cut through better now. Now, this cymbal right here doesn't. We're moving on to the next cymbal. And that comes on right here. So let's see what that does. It's kind of like a quick. I'm going to boost more mid in here. Around here. Brings it out a bit. Now I'm going to pan it. I don't know where. Now I'm going to pan it. I think it sounds good right there. And remember, wherever you pan these is wherever you think it sounds best. It's completely up to you. Okay, now we have a rough mix completed. I'm just going to listen back here and just kind of make some final adjustments before applying the mastering suite to the master fader. Listening here, it sounds like just the cymbal's a little too loud. I'm going to turn that down. Alright, now I'm going to turn the overall volume of the mix down just a tad before applying it. I know it sounds quiet, but after we put on the mastering suite, you'll understand. Now I'm going to apply the Isotope Ozone 5 mastering suite. If you buy anything, I highly suggest you buy this plugin. It's a great plugin for the money. So what you can do if you want to keep it simple is just find a preset you like by going through all these and keeping it. Or you could kind of select one and kind of dig in deeper and tweak around. That's what we're going to do here. So I'm going to go around here. I'm going to listen to a couple of them. Let's click CD Master. I don't really like that one. Let's go to Hip Hop Master. Doesn't sound bad. Let's see. Start over. Dirty bass. That sounds good. If I remember, I think the Reggae Master one sounds good as well. Let's see if I could find that one. Could have swore it was somewhere. Reggae Master. There we go. I like this one. Now I'm gonna build off this.
If Pac couldn't change the world, but spark the brain that might, I'm just laying the foundation if the revolution started tonight. A mind made of gold hard ice, a fade 2 chain black Nikes. Bucket had to lower the sights, tattoo left arm reads life. Been around the block more than bass heads early in the morning. This gift gon' bring me curses, and I still can't choose between